What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Rest in paradise to boxer Frankie Rando, known for his two epic battles with Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. The first fight, I felt he was robbed, did not get the decision. A lot of people blame Don King and his influence on the judges. And in the second fight, Frankie Rando was able to get a much-deserved, much-earned, well-deserved victory over the Mexican legend Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. Now let's talk a little boxing, current boxing. First of all, before I do that, man, I want all my subscribers and all the people that's watching this video to have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's talk a little current boxing. Terrence Bud Crawford. Who will he fight next? That's the question a lot of people are asking and wondering. Who is he going to fight next? He did an interview recently with Dan Rafael of Boxing Scene, and the subject of Sean Showtime Porter came up, as Porter is the #1 mandatory WBO contender. And he said, hey, if the fight goes to purse bleed, I'll fight him. But basically saying, if the WBO mandates the fight, I'll fight him. I'm going to get 75%, he's going to get 25%. You know, not saying, well, let's negotiate and we're going to try to see if we can get a deal without it going to purse bid. He basically telling the WBO to go and call a purse bid and let's take this fight to purse bid, because I'm not going to negotiate with Sean Porter and Al Heyman. I'm not negotiating with them guys. They just let it go to purse bid and I get 75% of it and he'll get 25% of it. Terrence Crawford is acting like he got a lot of options. And when you look at it, he don't have a lot of appealing options. He got options because he's got a WBO title, but he don't have a lot of appealing options. Who are you going to fight? You already told Errol Spence Jr. The other day that that accident must have knocked some screws loose. So, you basically shitting on him and, I don't think that fight's happening anytime soon. That's a shame because everybody wants to see that fight, but it don't like it's happening no time soon. Errol Spence Jr. is looking at a fight with Manny Pacquiao next. That's the most likely fight. If he don't get that fight, maybe take care of his IBF mandatory against Sergey Lipinets, or he fights Sean Porter, who, guess what, is the #1 contender in the WBC also. He actually got more options than you, Terrence Bud Crawford. He could just wait for the WBC to call the mandatory and he fight Errol Spence Jr. again. As we know, the first fight did good on pay-per-view. Sold 275,000 pay-per-view buys. So guess what? Sean Porter's actually been on a more successful pay-per-view than you have, Terrence Bud Crawford. You fought Victor Poster. That fight did 70,000 pay-per-view buys. You fought Amir Khan from the UK. You got the UK pay-per-views. We don't know what the number did in the UK, but we really don't worry about that. That's how what did the numbers do in the United States? And that fight did less than 150,000 pay-per-view buys. So he actually been on a more successful pay-per-view than you have. And you telling him to take the fight to purse bid, you're going to get 75, he's going to get 25 instead of being maybe 55, 45 in Bud Crawford's favor, because he is the champion and Sean Porter is the challenger. He did defeat Jeff Horn, the guy that defeated Manny Pacquiao. Sean Porter's defeated Danny Garcia. He's defeated Devin Alexander, Paulie Malignaggi. He defeated Adrian Broner. He's got some good wins on his resume. Lost a very razor-thin close decision to Keith One-Time Thurman. Lost another razor-thin close decision to Kell Brook. That fight was close. The further we get away from that fight, I guess it's 5-6 years ago, the more you hear people talking like Kell Brook schooled Sean Porter. Go back and watch that fight again. I thought Sean Porter won that fight, really. I thought he was aggressive and Kell Brook was holding too much. The referee should have docked him a point for doing all that excessive holding. Okay? So who are you going to fight, Terrence Bud Crawford, if you're not going to fight Sean Showtime Porter? Errol Spence is out the window. You ain't fighting him next. And where it's looking, you might not ever fight him. You can't get your promoter, your senile promoter, Bob Arum, to shut up. Quit talking bad about Errol Spence Jr. and his fights. They only did 125,000 pay-per-view buys. I heard it through the grapevine that he only did 125,000 pay-per-view buys. That's what you saying. Then the numbers come out. He said he did anywhere from 250 to 300,000 pay-per-view buys. Then you say Danny Garcia ain't nothing. That's a fight that everybody know he's gonna win. But the same Danny Garcia, you offered $3 million to come over to ESPN to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. Shitted on Sean Porter, saying that's a fight that nobody asking for. And then you said it. Then in the same situation, a couple of months later, you say Sean Porter. That's a good fight. Sean Porter is a good fight after he showed himself to be a real gritty, competitive fight that people didn't see coming against Errol Spence Jr. Then you say, well, he's earned. You start talking good about Sean Showtime Porter. And then after that, you say, well, I'll give him $1 million. If you don't take the $1 million, then take it to purse bid. And the man ain't made $1 million probably since he was fighting the likes of Devin Alexander. That's probably the last time he made $1 million or less than $1 million. Ever since that, he's been fighting Keith Thurmans of the world, the Danny Garcias of the world. He's making way more than $1 million. Forget what you hear reported about the purses for these fighters. These fighters are getting another check. They just put it like that besides that purse that's getting put out there for the public to see. So Terrence Crawford, who you going to fight next? Okay, let's go down to WBO ranking. Say Sean Porter, say the hell with you. I'm not taking no 25%. I just waited on the WBC to call the mandatory with Errol Spence Jr. Get that rematch set up. Forget that. What are your options, Terrence Bud Crawford? Okay, let's look at the number 2 guy up under Sean Showtime Porter. Virgil Ortiz. Oh, that's a big name. He'll bring the Latino fan base. He's growing. He's a young fighter, undefeated. But guess what? He's with Oscar De La Hoya in Golden Boy Promotion. You really think Oscar De La Hoya is going to put Virgil Ortiz in the ring with Terrence Bud Crawford right now? If you think that, I got some ocean front property to sell you right down the street from where I stay here in Houston, Texas. That's crazy. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Okay, let's go to number 3. Mikey Garcia is ranked number 3. Mikey Garcia is ranked number 3. You think Mikey Garcia going to take that fight? You think Mikey Garcia going to take that fight? Come on now. Mikey Garcia is not going to take that fight. He ain't showed no inclination to get in the ring with Terrence Bud Crawford. The only time he said anything about Terrence Crawford, he said, look, it would be a boring fight. The crowd wouldn't be happy with the fight because I had to run around and chase him around the ring and nobody want to see that. And then Terrence Bud Crawford quickly came back and said, look, you fight me, I ain't going to do no run. We can be in the middle of the ring. We can go toe-to-toe. We can bang it out. And then you ain't hear no response from Mikey Garcia. He's not trying to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. He's looking for a Manny Pacquiao fight. If he can't get that, then maybe he'll look for another fight with somebody on the PBC side. He's not looking to fight Terrence Bud Crawford, that's for sure. So that leaves you with the next available opponent, and that'll be Castillo Clayton. Last seen in the ring against Sergey Lipinets in a fight I thought he won. It ended up being a draw. I think one judge had Lipinets winning, the other 2 judges had it a draw. I thought he won the fight basically off the jab. I thought he was able to keep the fight at a range that he was comfortable with. He was able to land the jab and basically make Sergey Lipinets reset for the majority of that fight. But he didn't get the decision. But he is undefeated, hasn't lost. He's from Canada. That fight against Sergey Lipinets that took place on Fox in Los Angeles, that was his first fight outside of Canada. But he's a guy that's 33 years old, and he'll take the opportunity to fight for the WBO title. But that's not a appealing option. The guy, nobody really knows who the hell he is. Actually, I know him because I'm a boxing hardcore fan. But the general public don't know who the hell he is. But that's who you're looking at. But maybe that's who you want to fight. You can pay him a little bit of nothing because he'll be happy to fight for the opportunity to fight for a world title. And he'll take crumbs on the table. But that's a fight that's not going to advance you in the situation as far as want to have a better bargaining chip when and if it comes to negotiating with Errol Spence Jr. Because if you beat Castillo Clayton and he fights Manny Pacquiao, you going to wish you took that 60-40 or 70-30. It's going to be 75-25. Okay? At that point. So you need to get in there with Sean Porter. Beat him more decisive than Errol Spence Jr. beat him more decisive than Keith One-Time Thurman beat him more decisive than Kell Brook beat him, and then you got a leg to stand on, and then you can come to the table with a straight face and not get laughed out the room and say you want 60-40. They say and you want 60-40 in Errol Spence Jr. favor. You want 40% of the pie. Say the fight does $100 million. 40%, that's $40 million for you, $60 million for Errol. More than you made probably your entire boxing career. Ain't no maybe. I know it's more than you made your earnings and your entire boxing career. So you need to take that deal because you don't have a lot of options. Sean Porter got options. Sean Porter, again, can fight Errol Spence Jr. because he's number 1 in the WBC. He can have a rematch with Yordanis Ugas and fight for Yordanis Ugas' regular WBA welterweight title. He can fight Josecito Lopez. That fight would be big in LA. Do that fight in the Staples Center and make a good payday. Probably make more than what he would make fighting you with the 25% on the purse bid from the WBO. So to me, he's got more options than Terrence Crawford. Really, Sean Porter can come to the table and say, look, I want 50-50. Get 75-25. I want 50-50. But I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt and giving you your just due as being a WBO champion. You defending your title, and I give it to you 55-45. But 75-25, if Sean Porter takes that, cool. But if he doesn't take that, don't say Sean Porter ducking. Because like I said, he's been part of a more successful pay-per-view than Terrence Bud Crawford. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section about Terrence Bud Crawford telling Sean Porter to take the fight to purse bid and he'll fight him. Don't want to do any kind of negotiation and try to negotiate a deal and avoid a purse bid. He wants the fight to go straight to the purse bid. He don't want to negotiate with Team Porter. He wants it to go to purse bid where he's guaranteed 75% of the purse and Sean Porter's guaranteed 25%. Let me know your thoughts. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. Holla.